Hey guys, Harry Thomas here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Versus video on my channel. Uh, I have not done a Versus video in so long, but as it is now the 30th anniversary of this animated King, which I still grovel before every time I watch it, so I thought, well, perfect opportunity for a Versus video to compare the original to the remake. So without further ado, let's kickstart this versus video uh, our movies competing today will be The Lion King 1994 versus Lion King 2019. Now, granted, this isn't the only video I'm doing to celebrate Lion King's 30th anniversary, as I did review The Lion Guard back in January, and I do have some more Lion King videos planned for later this year. You will see them real soon. But as for this versus video, it's a no freaking brainer. The original is the superior film in every single category. There is not one soul in the history of the universe that would say the remake is better. Showdown over, the original wins. It's not even a question. Nah, video over. Nah, don't worry. I wouldn't do that to you. But I'm gonna go into detail and in depth of why the original is clearly better than the remake. Uh, our first category is visuals. I mean, to those that think the 2019 remake looks better than the original, for shame. Shame on you. I'm sorry, but the CGI in the 2019 remake is the most overrated as fuck of CGI I have ever seen in my entire 29 years of life. Period. It's not only because the CGI animals look emotionless and like dead zombies that were just brought to life in a soulless computer. No matter how detailed you can make the textures on the fur, and no matter how you can make them look like real life lions, Disney clearly forgot about the telling the emotion and the story. I'm looking at you, Jon Favreau. Your decision to make this like a freaking documentary was clearly the wrong one. Even Mufasa's dead body looked more alive than the CGI lions in this cat shit remake, and the just the Pride Lands and the backgrounds look so dry and empty, and it's like the entire movie is taking place in the dry season in Africa. There's no life to it. Tourists from across the globe would want to go on safari in Tanzania in the hand-drawn Lion King because that's the most breathtaking as hell a movie location ever put on film in comparison to the shitty looking Africa in the remake. Yeah, I'm with Doug Walker. It looks like shit as every single frame, whereas the hand-drawn animation in the original Lion King, timeless. No CGI could ever surpass this, no matter how hard it tries, no matter how much technology advances. Not even James Cameron could make a better looking movie than this. Disney took a trip to Africa to do their research for Lion King, and you could see the movie would have been entirely different without the trip. They never even would have learnt Hakuna Matata from the African natives without the trip. That's what made them realise they needed to have this movie take place in savannah, not in a jungle, when they realised, well, the lack of jungle in a lion's natural habitat. But the shots they made for the original are just have my jaw on the freaking floor every millisecond, from the shot of the camera zooming up the hill to Pride Rock in Circle of Life. Even when they do use the odd CGI, like for the Stampede, it blends in so naturally with the hand-drawn backgrounds. So yeah, the the 1994 Lion King is the best hand-drawn animation, and as for the past 30 years now, and it still makes it look like the most epic animated movie ever made. So you see where I'm going with this. Point goes to the original, and as for the soundtrack, the original also wins for soundtrack in a heartbeat. So, like, I mean, the remake, yeah, just because you bring back Hans Zimmer to do the score for the remake does not make it good. Hans Zimmer literally copied and pasted his score from the original. He did not do any effort to make it differentiate from the score he composed 25 years before the remake. And the original songs and the new songs they as is, well, unspeakably atrocious, if you ask me. Circle of Life, what sounded so boring in the remake, uh, and Just Can't Wait to Be King had no energy to it. Just the animals running around. That's the huge disadvantage of going for a more realistic tone. Be Prepared was the one that they fucked up more than any other. They were initially going to remove it, but they just shoehorned it in just to please the fans. But they could not have done it any worse. Far too short. Chitwell Ejiofor can't sing for shit, and the new lyrics, made my ears explodes with agony. Hakuna Matata again, boring, uh, and the other animals living with Timon and Pumbaa made no look of sense. Unnecessary characters, and extending The Lion Sleeps Tonight and shortening Be Prepares. Why the fuck would you do that? Lion Sleeps Tonight is look laughably bad extended with Timon and Pumbaa and the other animals prancing in the jungle together, and Can You Feel the Love Tonight? Oh, sorry, this afternoon or this morning. Why yeah, that's was done extremely dirty. Donald Glover and Beyonce singing together sound far too audio tuned, and Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen's comedy for Timon and Pumbaa did not get any chuckle. Oh, and Beyonce's song Spirit. Oh, the cringe. It hurts. Like, why would you remove the epic music of Simba and Nala running back to Pride Rock in the original in favour of that shitty musical number? As for the original soundtrack, I have been rocking this baby for the past 3 decades now, and it's a movie soundtrack I will never ever stop listening to for as long as I live. This soundtrack deservedly got 2 Academy Awards, and it still remains Hans Zimmer's finest score. Even when there's no songs, Hans Zimmer's score just adds to the majesty of this film. And the opening song for the original Circle of Life, it's still my all-time favorite Disney scene, and it's so precious. It brings tears to my eye, and I just can't wait to be king in the original. I whistle to it very often indeed. It is full of spunk, even though it's Simba technically saying he just can't wait for Mufasa to die, but he doesn't know that, of course. And then Be Prepared in the original. Oh, the remake shitty Be Prepared has nothing on the original's dope, but be prepared. Jeremy Irons and Jim Cummings are both a match made in heaven as singing as Scar, and it still remains the goat of movie villain songs. And Hakuna Matata in the original infinitely better than in the remake. Like Nathan Lane and Ernie Sabella are 10 times the comedians that Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen ever will be. And remake, you don't Pumbaa say every time that I fart, is the original knew how to do it to get us laughing. Pumbaa, not in front of the kids. Oh, sorry. Way better. Oh, and can you feel the lover tonight? So, so it's it's Elton John's. It's one of Elton John's finest achievements. You can see his passion for this for a Disney love song, and Timon and Pumbaa's into cussing. It's completely works and does not disrupt the sweetness of the song at all. In fact, the remake had overdid the songs. The original had as many songs as we needed, so point goes to the original. And now for the characters, original wins again. In the remake, well, where in the remake, what happened to our beloved Pride Rock gang? They we because they did their best to make the Lions so documentary photo real. They didn't even bother to motion capture the actors, unlike in movies like Planet of the Apes and Avatar, so we don't see the emotion come through. We never see our characters cry. We never see them laugh. They have that. It's like their face is stuck on one expression, and yeah, Scar was the character they butchered more than any other. His design, looking nothing like the original, is the least of the problems. This Scar is not intimidating. I don't buy why the hyenas would ever serve him. And Cubba Simba, he actually tells Mufasa in the remake he's not supposed to come up to the top of Pride Rock. Why would Simba care if he's disobeying? In the original film, Kid Simba would happily disobey to explore because he was so naive. And Mufasa in the remake, James Earl Jones did not put any ounce of effort into his voice acting. Uh, he just read his lines are Simba, you deliberately disobeyed me. Do you understand what's at stake? You jeopardize the future of our pride. I am not kidding. And they made Mufasa look like a dick, like he cares more about the legacy of the pride than the safety of his son and Nala. Uh, where Whereas in the original, Mufasa was like, "You could have been killed, and you put Nala in danger." So James L. Jones, how do you go from one of the most powerful and badass vocal performances from a Disney animated character to one of the worst and most tired sounding? I think the female characters were done way better in the original. For one thing, uh, Nala in the original did not need to say lions attack or are you with me lions like she pointlessly did in the remake. Maura Kelly did a 1000% better job voicing Nala than Beyonce, and Nala in the original, she was sweet and she had a real spunk to her. Sarabi was, uh, a hell of a lot better in the original. They wrongly changed her line to Scar, "If you were half the king Mufasa was," to in the remake, "You are nothing compared to Mufasa." The dialogue changes in the remake were so pitiful. I couldn't take it. And and oh, and Timon and Pumbaa in the original, they felt like Simba's family, and they were funnier in every sense of the word. Their hula dance, funniest scene in the entire movie. In the remake, what do we get? A Be Our Guest, Beauty and the Beast forced callback. Ah, Disney, what the fuck? And then and Zazu in the original. Uh, 10 times more charming. Like, Rowan Atkinson clearly outacts John Oliver. Like, in the original, we got classic lines like, he's as mad as a hippo with a hernia, whereas and in the original, Scar imprisoned Zazu in a cage and forced him to sing a coconut song to him. We felt so bad for Zazu, where whereas in the remake, Zazu is not put in a cage. He's just flying around Pride Lock with Scar and the hyenas chasing after him. That makes Scar and the hyenas less of a threat. Are you kidding me? On than the hyenas in the original. Well, you only needed 3 hyenas, Shanzi, Banzai, and Ezra, to leave an intimidating impact. That's what they did flawlessly. They they didn't even have the birdie boiler scene in the remake. Instead, when the other hyena, either Kamari or Azizi, I don't give a fuck, bumped into one another and then they had their bickering. How is that funny? And Rafiki, one of the most beloved characters of them all, the wise old Medusi, the original, is 100 times better. He doesn't get Simba's hair through a ball of giraffe shit. He gets it through the wind, and he even gets that classic scene with Simba where he hits Simba over the head with his staff and then he reassures Simba the past can hurt, but you can learn from it. And then Simba ducks when he swings it again. That perfectly sums up the message in the original. In the remake, Rafiki doesn't do anything like that, so he feels like he has no relevance on the narrative. Say what you want about Matthew Broderick as Simba, but I think it's Matthew Broderick's best performance by a landslide. He made you legit sympathize with Simba with all the trauma he went through. Simba went through more shit than any other Disney protagonist, and Matthew Broderick's vocal performance perfectly conveyed that, whereas Donald Glover's shitty Simba just made him sound like a unsympathetic New York gangster, a jerk the entire time. So point goes to the original, and as for direction, point goes to Roger Allers and Rob Minkoff. Jon Favreau did his worst direction ever for the remake. You can see through the direction of Roger Allers and Rob Minkoff that they and their team have made something with love. And even if the Disney studio didn't have a full faith in The Lion King during its production, and yet it turns out they underestimated the movie, whereas the money-grabbing Mickey cash grab team behind the remake had confidence this remake would make them would rain money at them, which it did, very tragically. But luckily, nobody liked it, and now we're getting a live-action Lion King cinematic universe, which I have no desire to to see. So yeah, the original wins this showdown. It completely and utterly buries the remake firmly in the ground. Yeah, with all that said, at least the Mufasa the Lion King trailer is uh, well, the most disliked trailer of the year. So I don't think it's going to rain money at Disney like the 2019 remake did by any stretch. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this Versus video, and I'm sure all the comments are going to side with the original here. Please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow on Twitter and on Instagram, and I'll see you next time. And remember, movies are us. Bye, guys.